Testing.
I'm going to make an announcement for Spanish-speaking people. Somos intérpretes en español. Si necesitan interpretación en español, tenemos auriculares atrás del auditorio. Por favor, recojan su auricular y les interpretamos todo lo que se dice durante el programa en español. Gracias.
If I can get your attention, please. All the parents, we'd appreciate it if you'd sit on this side of the auditorium so all the students will be able to be on this side, and it's just going to make it easier for them to come on stage. So if you're a parent, please sit on this side of the auditorium. Thank you for your cooperation.
There's 2 seats, or find some seats.
Go for it. I'm gonna sit back here.
Sure?
Yo me voy para allá al ratito y se escucha más.
Okay.
Good evening, buenas noches, bienvenidos. Welcome, special guests. Tonight is a joyous occasion. We're recognizing our students who are the hard workers in our district, that are 8th and 12th grade students. And we are proud of our seniors. All of our seniors and 8th grade students tonight are our 4.0 students. Please help me congratulate them. Although we'll be having guest speakers, adult guest speakers giving advice to our students, I want us to remember that it is about students tonight and that we want to recognize our talented and hardworking students. Tonight, to aid my throat, I do have a Master of Ceremonies for you, and he will make tonight fun for our students. Mr. Martin Carrizosa was born in Nogales, Arizona, and he was raised in Tucson, Arizona, and he is from Sunnyside High School, but we won't hold that against him. Thereafter, he received a scholarship, an athletic scholarship to play football after high school, and attended Eastern Arizona College and Baker University in Baldwin City, Kansas. Mr. Carrizosa has dedicated many years of serving our youth in many ways. He has worked very hard and has remained dedicated to make vast and positive impact in the lives of many of our students. In the past, he has served as a volunteer with the Muscular Dystrophy Association and Special Olympics. He served as a TUSD tutor mentor specialist before working with at-risk adolescents as a youth care worker at Catalina Mountain Juvenile Institute. Moreover, on the road to enhancing his career, he contributed in a great way to the safety of our community by serving as a Pima County Adult Probation Officer for several years. He has spent countless hours staying involved in coaching high school baseball, softball, and football at Sunnyside High School, currently a youth boxing mentor, as well as a USA Junior Olympic boxing official. Martin Carrizosa currently works as a locomotive engineer with the Union Pacific Railroad. Whether he's mentoring, volunteering, coaching, officiating, Mr. Martin Carrizosa continues to be a positive and strong influence for the youth in our community. He has so much charisma, and I have had the privilege to meet him recently, and I'm very happy to welcome him here today, and I'm grateful that he will be speaking to you tonight. Mr. Carrizosa.
I had to smile because I see my old boss from Sunnyside High School, Mr. Abel Morado, staring right at me. So if anybody knows me here, he does. And he's been a person who mentored me in my life and was an example by his dedication to his job and to the students. But today it's not about me. It's not about any of the dignitaries that are here today. Although we tip our hats to you, but today it's about our students. I congratulate you. If I can tell you one of the proudest moments in my life, it wasn't all the accolades of being the player of the year in 1984. It wasn't the accolades of being a first team All-State, first team All-City, first team all Metro. That wasn't the highlight of my life. The highlight of my life happened during the graduation of the December graduation of TUSD here in this auditorium. As my son graduated from Choya High School, I couldn't help but be proud when I heard a former player of mine, a former student, one who I mentored, one who I talked about dedication to, one who I led by example in his life. But I was sitting with my wife and I said, wow, I coached that kid. When they introduced Dr. Chris Bond from Santa Rita High School, I have to say that was a very proud moment in my life. Because as a coach, you wear a lot of different hats. If you've ever been to the neighborhoods in the Sunnyside School District, you'll understand. And we have a lot of those neighborhoods here in TUSD too. But you're a father, you're a best friend, you're a leader, and you're a mentor. And we wear all those hats. So to all you coaches out there, if you're giving your time to the kids, it's a very busy week for me today. Tomorrow I referee, I'm a boxing official, and I will referee at Celebrity Theater tomorrow in the amateur portion of the Pro-Ams. And you know, with God's help, in July, I get certified as a pro official. And that's just from Sammy John Gardella is another guy who's a principal at Saguaro. He was my head football coach. And I'm just so proud of those guys because I want to be just like them. And I hope that somebody in your student life was that mentor for you. That's going to drive you to want to be there. As we introduce these dignitaries tonight and these people who have succeeded in our community, Hispanic people, Mexican American people who succeeded, if you want to be like them, shoot for the stars. Because even if you miss, you'll be amongst the stars. But tonight it's not about them. It's about you. And I'd like to thank you, Dr. Figueroa, for having me and giving me the opportunity to be here tonight. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Celebrating academics for Mexican American student services is something that makes me hold my chin up high. We're going to continue with our program. And opening the program, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if I can get you all to stand up, I'd like to introduce to you from Pueblo Magnet High School, Adriana Dalton.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wow, thank you, Adriana. We need to be proud. If you remain standing, please, if you remain standing, We're going to continue with our program, and I'm probably going to introduce to you a young lady from Valencia Middle School that's going to sing the national anthem a cappella. For those of you guys who are singers, you know how tough it is to sing the national anthem, and to sing it a cappella, that's even that much tougher. But help me welcome from Valencia Middle School, Victoria Pompa.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early
Victoria Pompa, Valencia Middle School. You may all be seated, please. Before we continue with our program, statistics aren't everything, but they sure do mean something to the people who are putting in the hard work. And for all you educators in the building, I tip my hat to you. Dr. Petticombe, the statistics I will read at this time should make you very proud to represent Tucson Unified School District. Because these kids have worked very hard. And they will be recognized individually when their schools come about, but I will just break it down per high school. And the note that they gave me here says scholarships issued to graduating seniors from TUSD high schools in this school year. Choya High School, 46 college scholarships. Mind you, everything that we're talking about here is to Hispanic students. Okay, we are Mexican American Student Services, so it's obvious that we're here to recognize Latin kids. I can't only say Mexican American kids because I know that we have Puerto Ricans, Venezuelans, and people from Sudamerica, El Salvador, wherever you may be. Today you're going to get recognized as a Mexican American Student Services student. But we recognize that maybe you're Boricua, and we recognize you today too. Palo Verde High School, 19. Pueblo High School, 14. Rincon High School, 30 scholarships. Sabino High School, 16. Saguaro High School, 16. These are all scholarships for you people walking in. We're reading off scholarships that Mexican American students received in our local high schools this year. Santa Rita High School, 27. Tucson High School, 58. University High, 29. Catalina High School, 19. That's an amazing feat. Thank you, educators, for preparing these students to go to the next level. I was reading about University High, and I can't leave here without boasting about this, although I'm not an alumni. I just sacked their quarterback a bunch of times. University High, on average, per high school in the country, on average, per high school in the country, you had 1 merit scholar per school. University High in Tucson Unified School District has 56. I have a very good friend of mine, Barry Roberts, who's been a math teacher at University High for a lot of years, and we refereed football together. And I told him, Barry, why are you so tired? You're just a teacher. And he said, I'm mentally exhausted. These kids are so bright that they challenge me day in and day out. And I am just mentally exhausted. And 56 merit scholars, I can see why. Right now, I'm going to introduce to you somebody who makes me very proud to be Hispanic, to be Mexican American, and it's part of my heritage. And in my opinion, there's nothing better. And I've been following this group from the time they originated, because my sister and I worked at Pueblo High School when this group originated. And that was a lot of years ago. But I introduce to you, for our entertainment, Mariachi Atzlan of Pueblo High School and their director, John Contreras. This is a nationally recognized mariachi.
bonito es volar, ay mamá, para venir a quedar en los gigantes del coche, en los gigantes del coche, hasta quisiera llorar, ay mamá. La bruja me lleva al cuartel, me vuelve maceta, ya me da de comer. Me agarra la bruja, me lleva a su casa, me vuelve maceta, ya me da calabaza. Dígame usted, ¿cuántas criaturitas se ha chupado usted? Ninguna, no sé, ando en pretensiones de chuparme usted. ¡Sí, señor! ¡Puro mariachi están! Estaba María Chuchera, sentadita en la barranca, sentadita en la barranca, estaba María Chuchera. Su vestido en las piernas, recogiendo flores blancas, estaba María Chuchera, sentadita en la barranca. María Chuchera se fue a bañar a orilla del río un poquito al mar. María Chuchera se estaba bañando y el pescador la estaba mirando y le decía: María, ni te echo tu casa, ni te echo la mía, ni te echo tu casa, ni te echo la ajena, ni te echo la casa de María Chuchera.
Mariachi Ixtlan de Pueblo High School. Awesome. And just a little reminder to all of you, Pueblo High School is a magnet school for technology. And this is their fine arts program. That speaks volumes of Pueblo High School. We're going to continue on with the program because we got a little bit to go still. And of course, we don't want to keep you here all night because there's school tomorrow. And we all have to go to work tomorrow. And it's kind of funny. I'm a locomotive engineer with Union Pacific Railroad. And when I got invited to do this, I had to make some changes because usually I travel on the train to and from. But being a Mexican American on the railroad, when I first got hired, they said, "Your kind don't work out here." I said, "Well, they do now, and we're here to stay." But there was something one guy told me. He said, "There's few Mexicans that work on the railroad." And when I became a locomotive engineer, he said, "Don't just be an engineer." He said, "Be the best engineer possible." And I'm telling you, students, don't just be a student. Be the best student you can be. As we continue with our program, I'd like to introduce to you this person, this fine young lady, this fine woman. How can we describe her? She's the reason why I'm here today. But without further ado, I introduce to you the Director of Mexican American Student Services, Dr. Maria Figueroa.
Good evening. At this time, prior to our congratulatory remarks, I'd like to ask Mr. Roy Morrison to please come up. Mr. Roy Morrison is a private donor. He gave us a scholarship for $500. And our specialist, Mr. De La Torre, can you please come up as well? We have a young lady from Tucson High who received a scholarship tonight for $500. She's been accepted to NAU. And part of the assignment for our specialists is to help our students who were kind of overlooked in terms of being assisted with helping develop and write personal statements. We selected students that they worked with to write these statements and apply to scholarships. Arizona Hispanic School Administrators Association is donating, giving at least 3 to 4 scholarships for $500 as well, but that committee is not going to be done with their work until tomorrow. So the families that do receive those scholarships will be calling them and issuing those out. However, from the stack of the scholarships that applied to the Arizona Hispanic School Administrators Association, several of us got together and selected a student, first-generation student, to go to college from one of our high schools. It was a very difficult task to go through all of the scholarships applications because most of our children deserve so much credit to their hard work. And so the young lady from Tucson High School that won the $500 scholarship from AXA Community Scholarship is not here tonight. She's at Tucson High receiving her own awards, other awards. But we would like to give from our department, in appreciation, this certificate, this plaque to Mr. De La Torre, who's going to read the essay for you, because I do believe that it will touch our students. One of our message for our 4.0 students tonight is that we want you to come back. We want you to come back and help us with the other students that are not 4.0 students. We want you to help us in our Saturday workshops, in our Saturday tutoring and mentoring programs next year. As you're going through your college life, give something back to your community. And so this young lady encompasses that work and community service. She has given a lot of hours at the Girls and Boys Club. We do have the CEO of the Girls and Boys Clubs today here, Mr. Rios. Can you please stand up, Mr. Rios? Thank you so much, Mr. Rios, for being here. And also agreed to allow us to use one of his facilities for our Saturday schools for TUSD students. This scholarship reads, the program reads, scholarship recipient, Tucson Unified School District, 11th Annual Mexican American Student Services Student Recognition Program, Anisa Marie Holguin. And do we have a representative here tonight from Tucson High School to receive this for her family from Mr. Morris? Anybody? Okay, thank you. Mr. Morris, we want to thank Mr. Morris. He's going to give us $500. But we're very grateful to Mr. Morris for giving this $500 actually to a student who will be needing it.
On behalf of Tucson High, Dr. Clash, Principal, and Alicia Maria Odin, thank you. And tomorrow you'll be visiting the school together.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening. I won't take up too much time, so I'll just get right to it. So being of Latino heritage has always had a large impact on my life and continues to influence many of my decisions as I'm preparing to go on to college. This includes my desire to be the first in my family to graduate from a university, to become one of the increasing number of Latino women in the medical field, and to one day own my own business. Both my grandfathers were born in Mexico and have always encouraged me to embrace the opportunities I have received because they came to America. Unlike most children who daydream about what they will have when they grow up, I have dreamt about going to college my entire life. Neither set of grandparents nor my parents ever received their college degrees. My maternal grandma did not even get to start her high school education. This is one of the largest factors for me wanting to attend university, to give something back to my family who worked so hard for me to have this chance in the first place. I know that throughout the years, being of Latino descent has carried with it many negative stereotypes, and that those of us with Latino heritage sometimes struggle to overcome them. In order to support younger children in overcoming those stereotypes and making better lives for themselves, I began giving back to my community by alternately working and volunteering at a nearby Boys and Girls Club. My time there has helped me to encourage other teens and children, not only of Latino descent, to pursue their dreams. I continuously support their goals and assist them with their homework to ensure that they stay in school and enjoy the benefits of hard work and getting good grades. One of my goals in life is to pursue a career in medicine. This summer I will begin taking classes in support of a 4-year psychology degree. From there, I hope to enter a pre-med program in graduate school and work toward becoming one of the increasing number of Latino women hoping to make an impact in the medical field. My dream of one day owning my own business, a bakery, goes back to taking advantage of the opportunities I have been given by my family. My family in Mexico had to give up their dreams to help their parents support their household, and I intend on finishing school and supporting my family in return. Of all the opportunities I intend to seize while I have the chance, this scholarship is important to me for a multitude of reasons. If I were to receive this scholarship, I would feel as though I am on the right path to honoring my heritage. Making my parents and grandparents proud of where I would come from is one of the only things I could ask for in this life. Graduating from university, achieving the goals I set for myself as I continue to school would be greatly encouraged with a scholarship such as this. So Anissa wishes she could have been here, but as Dr. Figueroa said, she is receiving a multitude of awards at Tucson High, so I can't wait to go to Tucson High and present this award to her.
All of the specialists in the department assisted at least 10 students with writing their papers and applying to scholarships, and he was instrumental in assisting her. At this time, I'd like to have you help me welcome our fearless leader and superintendent, Dr. Catalina.
Well, like everybody else that's going to get up here this evening, let me begin by saying congratulations to all the students that are on this side of the room. I guess we did it right, on this side of the room. And you know why. We are all here for you this evening, and all the rest of us in this room are here because of you. So we congratulate you. Before I go any further, how about a round of applause for Victoria? The courage that Victoria has to get up in front of this group of people. And to sing the national anthem, I mean, think about it. A middle school student gets up and looks in front of a friendly audience, certainly, but by herself singing a song that's not an easy song. Not an easy song at all, as Martin said, but a song that she sang so well. The courage to do that is what this is about this evening. It's about what every student in this auditorium exhibited. It was the courage to do what you did to get here. The courage to not succumb to people who might have suggested that you do something other than the things you needed to do to get here. The courage to overcome obstacles and the very things that are going to carry you through life. You know, the other thing I think that we need to think about before I get down off the stage is to think about the vision. And I looked up here as I came up into the auditorium, and you see a couple of placards up here. And one of them says the class of 2013, and the other one says the class of 2017. Now, why would they put these two placards up here? You know, I would submit it's probably because they're suggesting to every student in the school that they have a vision. A vision for what's possible. And that, I think, is the message I'd like to impart on you as well. And that's that you have a vision for what is possible in your life. I hope you have that. I hope you know that nothing is in your way. Honestly, nothing is impossible if you put your mind to it and you set your heart at it as well. The fact that you think about that, and the fact that you focus yourself on what is possible will get you there. Let nothing stand in your way. We congratulate you this evening. Each time you hit a piece of success like this, it's an example of what you can do, and it inspires you to do it again. So I applaud you once again, congratulate you, encourage you to remember this night, and remember the feeling you have tonight for accomplishment and carry it through your life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Petticone. that was a test for you on the 2017 and you passed. And 2017, for those of you who don't understand, our 8th graders here tonight, that's their graduating date. How about a round of applause for class of 2017? They need to be recognized. A goal that's very attainable. We're going to continue with our program because we have a few people that want to give you congratulations, and we'll continue. And I'm going to bring to you now the Executive Director of Student Equity and Intervention, Mr. James Fish. Help me welcome Mr. Fish.
Good evening, students, first of all, and good evening, parents, family, and friends. On behalf of the, excuse me, something in my throat there. On behalf of Student Equity and Intervention, I want to first of all congratulate all of our students. This is a very wonderful opportunity, and you all have had, you have worked very diligently and very hard, and for that, you are here to be recognized. I just want to say to you, as you begin your journey of academic excellence, the road is not always going to be easy. It's not going to always be roses. There'll be some times when you kind of wonder why you're where you are. But I challenge you to hold on to the values that I know that your parents and your families have instilled in you. That's hard work, that's decision making, that's loyalty, and that's perseverance. So as we sit here and celebrate, as we should, this wonderful occasion, and all of you, never forget that the journey is never over. You continue to work, you continue to believe in yourselves, because if you don't, it really doesn't matter. We can't give it to you without you wanting it. So congratulations again to all of you, and on behalf of my staff, Mexican American Student Services Department, all of those hardworking people who every day, Dr. Figueroa giving the vision, giving the role modeling, congratulations to all of them for all of their hard work and making this program available to us this evening. Again, thank you, parents. You should feel very proud. Family members, you should feel very proud, because if it weren't for you, our wonderful kids wouldn't be here. So again, congratulations to all.
As I'm sitting here and listening to some of these keynote speakers, I can't help but remember my father. We grew up in a very stern home where my father used a lot of cuss words in Spanish. For a while I thought that my name was one of the cuss words because he used it pretty often. But my mother said something to me that stuck with me forever. And throughout my career, you're always going to run into negative, people who pull you down, people who are going to say negative things to you. But I always recall what my mother used to say when my father had his choice words for us as kids. She always said, in between all those cuss words, your father's giving you a message. Learn to block out the cuss words and focus on the message. Because he would call us a lot of names, but then he'd say, you need to do better in school. He'd call us a lot of cuss words, and then he'd say, you don't even know how to work. How do you mean you have a girlfriend? Yeah. So those are things that stuck with me, and you're going to have a lot of people who try to pull you down, a lot of people who won't believe in you, but don't stop. Just like a speed bump doesn't stop your car, but it slows you down. Just go over the speed bump. And we're going to continue with our program. And we're going to continue with the Director of Mexican American Student Services. Once again, help me welcome Dr. Maria Figueroa.
And now I can see you all because they turned off all those lights. But at this time, I would like to thank you all. I know this is family time, but thank you for coming. I'd like to recognize some very important people. Board members, Mrs. Grijalva, are you here? Is she here? Board member Grijalva? No? Okay, I'll go through the list. Okay, she confirmed with us, so that's why I was hoping she. Okay, so Mrs. Foster Crystal Foster. Thank you so much for coming, Mrs. Foster. Thank you for coming to all of our events. I noticed you've been in all of them. Mr. Michael Hicks, is he here tonight? Board member Michael Hicks? Okay. Mr. Stegman? Thank you, Mr. Stegman. Mr. Ken Juarez, who will be speaking later on tonight. Mr. Juarez will be giving you some advice, further advice later on. My counterparts and directors, Mrs. Bailey Jones. Thank you. Director for Asian and Pacific American Studies, and Mrs. Begay James Roxanne, please. Thank you. She's the Director for Native American Studies. And we also have Mrs. Holly Colonna. Is she here tonight? Mr. Clark is Director for African American Student Services. Is he in? Mr. Brian Lambert. He also assists us with many projects in the department. I'd like to thank Dr. Patacone again for coming tonight. Dr. Mentoni. Mr. Morado. Dr. Morado is here. Thank you. Mrs. Maggie Schaefer, who many of us will miss. Thank you for coming. If any of my advisory council members are here, I would like to thank them and recognize them for helping me start this department with our newsletters, our mission statement, and all the decisions that we make to help our students. Mrs. Denise Contreras, Mrs. Patty Diaz from NAU, Guadalupe Duran, Mr. Feliciano Leon, Reina Rabago. I'd like to thank all the principals that have come tonight and the assistant principals that are helping us. We'll recognize you as you come up with your students. My staff, Mrs. Diana Soto, thank you, community rep, for helping us with everything you do, Mrs. Diana Soto. Christina Sterling, Mrs. Marla Vera. JC, thank you for helping so much this year at Wakefield and your students that you helped with the scholarships. Mrs. Ann Littleton, thank you for stressing out for me all the time with me. Mrs. Ann Felix, thank you. Mrs. Carmen Kemry, thank you so much for helping me with this program and with everything else that you do throughout the year. Mrs. Monique Landrum, Lindsay Lawson, everybody's working in the back, I guess, standing out. Mrs. Angelica Munoz, is she here? See, I tell you they're all in the back. Mr. Rashad Robinson and Angelica Scott. Thank you so much to my staff. Executive Director, Mr. Eugene Butler, are you here? I saw you earlier. Thank you so much for your support in working with your schools. Mr. Rob Rossi, you were also very instrumental. Thank you. Executive Director, Dr. Romero, are you in tonight? And I know he has quite a challenge with the multicultural curriculum, and he has some sick children at home tonight, I believe. But if you picked up one of our newsletters, you'll see that he was highlighted as the fearless leader he is from our department. At this time, I also like to thank Mr. Macias, Mr. Israel Macias, is he here tonight? No? Danny Terry, thank you so much. I know you and I have worked on several projects. He's in the back over there, director also for family and community outreach. There's so many people that I haven't thanked yet, and I'm sure I'll thank you as we go throughout the night. But I am really grateful that you are here tonight during your family time to recognize our students. At this time, there are two special people that I'd like to thank, and to please come up to say a few words. Mr. Richard Elias. Thank you. Maria's office has donated some money to Mrs. Carmen, via Mrs. Carmen Camrys, who knows him, and I'm very grateful to Ms. Diane. And the nice flower arrangements were given in his office.
It's great to be here again at the Mexican American Student Recognition evening. I've been at a number of them and have had a great opportunity to say hello to everybody and wish our students the best. So one more time, I stand here humble with my favorite raza, la raza humana, and that's the way we all should be. First things first, take care of a little administrative thing here. On this evening, we honor students as it should be, but we also honor their parents. So in honor of achievement of my good friend Cam Juarez, I'd like to thank his mom, who's here in the audience tonight. Thank you very much for raising such a fine gentleman. Comes to us from that place named Somerton, San Luis, Yuma, the whole area. We have to include it all as one, you know. Congratulations to all our students. I'm very proud of all of you and your accomplishments, and we need every single one of you to make sure that you graduate and continue to graduate. Don't let this be the only graduation that you have. If you're seniors, if you're 8th graders, you must graduate time and time and time again. We need all of you desperately. And though I'm a wildcat through and through, I don't even care if you go to Arizona State, just go up there and graduate. That's what I got to tell you. You know, we stand here at Catalina High School, and it's a wonderful place, and it's a great name. But we think of the Catalina Mountains when we think of Catalina. We hear that word. But the first Americans call that mountain Babat Doat, which means Frog Mountain. Because at a distance, when you look at the Catalinas, it looks like a big old frog sitting on his haunches. And that's important to us. It's important to us because right here in this spot, it's been a crossroads since time immemorial. And the people walked, and they walked from the Malvinas Islands, way down at the tip of South America, all the way to the tundras of Canada to do business with each other. They went to the Pacific Ocean. They went to what we call the southern part of the United States, and they shared. They shared each other's cultures, each other's lives. All of you as students are going to do that. You're going to travel. You're going to go places you never thought of. Do that. But remember this little place. Remember Babat Doat, and come back to Tucson. And be proud when you come back to Tucson and know that this is where your roots are and that we love you here in Tucson. It's very important that you come back and do that. And I got to talk about Mariachi Aztlán de Pueblo. Because last Saturday, they performed at an opening that we had in Menlo Park for a neighborhood reinvestment project. And at the beginning of that tocada, on Saturday morning, they played La Madrugada, which was my mother's favorite song, and it made me cry. And I'm not ashamed of that because it was about beauty. It was about the beauty of the dawn. And that's why my mother loved that song. And I lost her 5 years ago, but Mariachi Aztlán touched my heart. And I just wanted to tell you all that here because it's an important part of what we've done here in Tucson. The youth mariachi movement has made a huge difference in the lives of so many Chicano students. We need to be very proud of that and recognize the accomplishments of those students who participate in mariachi as well. So I had to say that about them just on a very personal note. But there's one last thing I could leave you with. I would say that on the way over here, I was listening to some music in my car, and I heard a great song written by a man named McKinley Morganfield.
And his stage name was Muddy Waters. And he was from Mississippi. And he was a great American songwriter. And he wrote the blues. The song I was listening to is a song called You Can't Lose What You Never Had. And that's very true for all of us. The gist of that song is about the troubles of life, like many of the blues songs are. That we face adversity, that we face trying times. But when you say you can't lose what you never had, that means you gotta go for it because you got nothing to lose and everything to gain. That's an important thought for all of you tonight. That's an important thought for all those parents. That's an important thought for all of us who are here to honor you. Remember that. Keep it in your heart. Can't lose what you never had. Thank you all for being here. I love you all.
For all of us that work under a director, sometimes the directors throw us a curveball, just like our director did today. But that supervisor, Mr. Richard Elias, Pima County District 5. Richard serves on the Pima County Board of Health, Little Chapel of All Nations Board of Directors. He's a graduate of, South Point Catholic High School Board of Directors and Diabetes Association Board of Directors, Tucson Unified School District Mexican American Studies Advisory Board, and the Juvenile Justice Executive Board and U of A Healthcare Hospital at Keno Advisory Board. That's Mr. Richard Elias. You students are probably wondering, why do they keep bringing these people up here to say congratulations? I'm going to tell you why. Just like you're staring at the 2017 as your graduating class, one time they were sitting where you are. And the message they're sharing today, sí se puede. Yes, you can. You can do it. Que sea tu reto cambiar lugar con esta persona. Let it be a challenge to you to trade places with that person. That you could be the keynote speaker one day at an academic awards for your grandchildren, for your children, or maybe for your wife who becomes a director. So that's why we bring these people, because they're Mexican American and they're successful. We're going to continue with our program. And the curveball that our director threw at me was, I was supposed to share a little bio on Mr. Elias, but she threw me a curveball. This gentleman we're going to talk about now, when I was reading his bio, I kind of got chills. And after you hear it, maybe you will too. This gentleman is a lifelong resident of Ward 5 and Tucson. A graduate of St. Ambrose, Tucson High, and a 20-year veteran of the Pima County Sheriff's Department. He is a Vietnam-era veteran of the United States Army, having served as a military policeman and a patrol and narcotics dog handler. This gentleman in 1985 received the Pima County Sheriff's Department Officer of the Year Award. He was also a recipient of a Jefferson Award in 1998 for his community service. This gentleman has served as a National Officer of the League of United Latin American Citizens, known as LULAC. In September 2009, thanks to the efforts of this gentleman and LULAC, the Community Food Bank of Southern Arizona received more than 15 tons of chicken products donated by Tyson Food the Pima County Board of Supervisors recognized Fimbres for his 18-month effort to secure this donation from Tyson. This was only a part of Richard's work for the community. Throughout 2009, he made it an integral part of his effort, and then as a candidate, and will continue to do so as Ward 5 council member, raising awareness of community food bank and importance of everyone helping. Fimbres is a graduate of Pima Community College, the University of Arizona, Northern Arizona University, and he was the proud father of Richard, Michael, Joseph, Terrence, and has been married for 34 years to his dear wife, Mary. Without further ado, I introduce to you Mr. Council Member Richard Fimbres.
Good evening and congratulations. How many parents in the audience? Raise your hands. How many grandparents are in the audience? My hat's off to you. And students, this is a great milestone in your lives, but you wouldn't have done it without your parents and your grandparents helping you along the way. So I think you need to give them a round of applause. Teachers and administrators for TUSD, raise your hands. Let me tell you, these were your surrogate parents in the school district, pushing you and making you get along to graduate and meet your goals. I think they deserve a round of applause. Let me tell you, I'm a proud alumni of the TUSD schools. I am a Tucson High Badger, red and white. There's nothing more important than your high school years. So you freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, take advantage of this time. Start looking at your dreams and make them become a reality. You seniors, this is a milestone in your life. We need you to continue on in higher learning, whether it be Pima Community College or the University of Arizona or Northern Arizona. Those are some great educational schools. And ASU, okay. But this is an education. Once you have it, nobody can ever take it away from you. Remember that. Nobody can ever take away the knowledge that you have stored in your brain. Live life to the fullest, but take advantage of it. Keep your feet on the ground, but keep reaching for the stars. It's so important. I want to thank you all. I'm so proud of you, because so many people don't graduate in our community. And you that know some of those, you need to help them. You need to help raise them up with you. You are leaders today. Your little brothers, your little sisters, your cousins are looking up to you. Be that example for them. And I'm proud of the school district, this school district. They mean so much. All those high schools. They talk about Catalina, Tucson High, Pueblo, Choya. You have so many good high schools here that are magnet schools. Anything you want to aspire to be, you can be within TUSD, because they have the resources to help you. I know they've been struggling because of the budgetary issues, but that doesn't happen. These educators have really worked and gone the extra mile to ensure you have a quality education. They deserve a round of applause. A lot of these people take out of their own pockets to ensure that you got supplies and to ensure that your dream is carried on. And my hat's off to them. God bless you all, and thank you.
Councilmember Richard Fimbres. My father once told me, when you stop learning, you die. When you stop learning, you die. Cuando terminas de aprender, vas a fallecer. Me decía mi papá. My dad was a very proud Hispanic man. And he had a lot of lessons. One of the things he said, some of the things I'm telling you won't make sense today, but someday they're going to make sense. And they're making sense now that I'm a parent, now that I'm the adult. So I tell you kids, some of the things that are being said here today might not make sense to you, but someday they will. And why do I say when we stop learning, we die? I never knew that Baba Dawat was the name of that mountain range. So I learned something here today. We're going to continue with our program. For those of you guys who know this gentleman, he probably doesn't even need an introduction. But for those of you who don't know him, let me tell you a little bit about him. He's our keynote speaker tonight. And he's Mexican American. I know he was one of you at one time. I know he sat there maybe with a lump in his throat or tears in his eyes, wanting to be that person. Well, guess what? Tonight, he is our keynote speaker. This gentleman was born to migrant farm workers. His parents from San Luis, Arizona in 1972. His mother, Adela, instilled in him and his siblings the significant value of education. The significant value of education. The significant value of education. She explained to her children that getting a good education would be key to a better life. As a single parent, she helped put 7 of her 9 children through college, with 5 of them earning advanced degrees from universities all over the country. Growing up with a physical disability. Growing up with a physical disability. Growing up with a physical disability. No excuses. This gentleman faced many challenges in his formative years, yet he managed to graduate high school and follow his siblings' footsteps, earning his bachelor's degree from the University of Arizona in Mexican American Studies and Political Science. This gentleman has a master's degree in urban planning from the U of A's College of Architecture, pursuing both degrees while working full-time. No excuses. This gentleman has worked in various nonprofit agencies and for 2 Pima County departments focusing on youth and community development. He currently works for a Pima County Neighborhood Reinvestment Program where he has helped to revitalize communities through neighborhood improvement projects. He has worked over 40 neighborhood revitalization projects, managed over $7 million of Pima County bond funds since 2004. Wow, there should be a student in here saying, I can't wait till I can manage $7 million. This gentleman has served on the board of directors of Voices, a youth magazine, and the Brewster Center. He's on the Pima County Trial Court Judge Appointment Committee and has also volunteered with various other organizations. He's often invited to speak to youth organizations and at schools about the power of education, the development of anti-bullying programs, pedestrian safety plans, and accessibility in the community. In recent years, this gentleman has specialized in community engagements as part of his work with neighborhood revitalization efforts. This gentleman and his wife, Maserat, became parents in 2009. Their son, Julian, currently attends preschool at one of TUSD's community schools and will be starting kindergarten in the fall of 2014. This gentleman was also elected to the Tucson Unified School Board last fall and was sworn into office on January 8, 2013. His term will end in 2016. Don't let me hesitate to introduce to you Mr. Cam Juarez.
That was the majority of my speech right there, actually. So I really don't have much. Buenas noches. first and foremost, let me congratulate the students on this side of the arena, of the stadium. Give them a hand, please. Just give them a hand. Amazing, amazing kids. So I don't typically write a speech, but I felt that this particular event required the respect to actually go through and write a book. I'm gonna try to get through it. It's in 16-point font, so it's really not 6 pages. It's very short. So I'll start with this. To our highly competent and deeply motivated teachers and staff, to our tireless and diligent Superintendent Dr. Petticone, to Pima County Supervisor Richard Elias and the City of Tucson Councilmember Richard Fimbres, to the many other distinguished dignitaries who are present at this occasion, including one of my mentors, Mr. Raul Aguirre, to my mother Adela, who is joining us tonight, as Supervisor Elias mentioned. ¿Se puede parar, por favor, no? To the proud and loving family members of tonight's stars, the very important people we've come to honor in this ceremony. Our students, ladies and gentlemen, I give you a hearty buenas noches y gracias por acompañarnos. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I would like to begin by acknowledging the amazing work that our district staff are doing in preparing our students for life in our schools, but also beyond K-12. I would like to do this on behalf of myself, Ms. Foster, who's in the audience. Ms. Foster, can you stand, please? Governing Board Member Mr. Foster. Governing Board Member Dr. Mark Stegeman in the front as well. And the rest of my colleagues on the board, including Ms. Adelita Grijalba, who should be here momentarily. But I would say that these 4 individuals that I serve on the board with, along with Superintendent Petticone, are pretty incredible. The 5 of us amazingly do this for free, which is kind of crazy seeing as we have 10-hour meetings. And I know it's not always good news, but we work really hard to make sure that you guys get the best possible policies in place so that you get the best possible education. I'd also like to acknowledge all of the additional staff that's here. Mr. Fish, thank you. Dr. Maria Figueroa, from all of our administrative staff to all of our teachers and support staff, to our food service workers, our librarians, our bus drivers, our security personnel, our custodial workers. If we don't say it enough, we want to say it tonight. Gracias. Thank you for all you do, and thanks for everybody that was involved in making this event possible tonight. I especially want to thank Mariachi Aslan, but I also want to give a special thanks to Principal Rex Scott. Principal Scott, could you stand, please? Thank you. He's always there hosting God knows how many events here at Catalina, and we want to thank you for that. I also want to specifically thank Dr. Maria Figueroa for inviting me to speak tonight, and all of her staff who I work with during the Cesar Chavez Week here at TUSD. Her staff is an amazing group of individuals, and they work very diligently, crazy hours, and they treat the board members like rock stars. So we really appreciate everything that they do for us. Page number 1. By the year 2025, Latino children will make up over 25% of the school-age population in the United States. We're beginning to see this already in a lot of our nation's largest cities. Addressing the needs of all children is vital. Addressing the needs of the fastest growing community in the U.S., the Latino community, the Chicano community, the Mexican American community, if you want to call it that, is imperative to our national interest. Tucson Unified is taking steps to ensure that this growing population has a network of support systems in place. TUSD's Mexican American Student Services has an important role in this overall approach to advocate for students, their academic achievement, and their social well-being. Tonight, we recognize students for their remarkable academic efforts, because I gotta tell you, I was not an A student, so this is pretty remarkable. Their exemplary community and volunteer service, but most importantly, we honor their commitment to lead by example. You know, we've talked a little bit about making sure that the students come back and are part of the mentoring program that we have in place to help some of our students who are not the A students, who are attaining good grades, but are really aspiring to get those straight A's. So we are really looking to our students to do that with us. Tonight we recognize these students because they give us a good example. Un buen ejemplo, como dice mi mamá. These are words that have accompanied parental advice for many generations. My mother Adela, Mom, I'm probably going to embarrass you, la voy a avergonzar un poquito más. But my mother Adela has been one of the greatest examples a person like myself could ever hope for. For the pleasure of you Spanish-speaking individuals, I'm going to translate in Spanish for the sake of my mom. Mi madre Adela ha sido uno de los mejores ejemplos que una persona como yo podría haber pedido o ha rezado por una persona como ella. My mother embodies all the characteristics I want to exemplify and hope to pass on to my own son, Julián. Mi mamá es todos los ejemplos y las características que uno pudiera pedir y ojalá le pueda dar el mismo ejemplo a mi hijo Julián. Courage, commitment, intelligence, honesty, respect, empathy, selflessness, confidence, determination, compassion, dedication, perseverance, love, loyalty, leadership. I want to thank my mom and my siblings. My brother Juan Carlos is also in the audience with his wife, I think. Is Aurora here? There she is. And it is because of those two individuals in my family, and Aurora to an extent as well, that I was not the first in my family to go and graduate from college. It was because of their example and their leading by example that I was able to go to the University of Arizona. Page 2. These characteristics that I just read to you just happen to be the same characteristics I also see personified in the students we are here to honor tonight. I don't know every one of you, but I know one of you in the audience that is one of these students that are being honored. And I promise not to embarrass her too much. But my niece, Rachel Juarez. Rachel, can you stand up for a second? Rachel is one of the students being honored tonight. I'll get to you in a second, Mia. Students who, despite the weight of high expectations and even higher rigor and coursework, have managed to maintain excellent grade point averages, while simultaneously having been of service to someone, volunteered their time, and/or developed their artistic crafts. It is for this reason that many of them are receiving a Presidential Silver Award for outstanding academic excellence from our President of these United States, President Barack Obama. As I prepared my remarks for tonight, I called upon Dr. Figueroa for some insight. She asked me to talk broadly about leadership. So I ask you, what exactly is leadership? Well, in truth, people know leadership when they see it. But really, we have a difficult time putting it into words. As a TUSD governing board member, I want to share my most important guiding principle of leadership. Oftentimes, leadership is seen as a vertically positioned triangle. So just try to imagine a triangle pointing upwards, with the leader at the top of that triangle. Oftentimes, we see this leadership model, and we think, well, only the person at the top is going to be the person leading everybody behind them. Well, I challenge you to envision a leadership model where instead of a vertical triangle, we're looking at a horizontal V, much like the majestic Canadian geese that fly south every winter. That lead geese in the front, the most important role that geese has is making sure that it's tilting its long neck to the back to make sure the rest of the geese are following. That is the way I see leadership, making sure that whoever it is that you're leading is still following. Take heed, you students that are graduating to 9th grade and are getting ready to move on to college, that as long as the people that you lead are as good as you're doing a great job. Page 3. So as we honor our young leaders tonight, we have to acknowledge that they've taken on a great responsibility. We have a lot of students in our district that struggle to achieve academically. These young people have done it. Not all of our students can achieve the straight A's that some of the kids here have. All of our students are valuable, but these kids have done something extra. They've taken that step up and have volunteered to lead when they needed to be in those positions. These leaders are people for whom others take risk. It takes no leadership to get people to do something they already want to do, but it does take leadership to encourage others to venture to do their very best. These students have done that which is hard to do. If we reflect on history, we see that our most famous leaders rose in hard times, not easy ones. I'm talking about the students, not the governing board. Yes, that was supposed to be funny, but apparently it's not. Okay. These young leaders have led by example, giving hope to educators and administrators that these outstanding students will continue to give back to their schools and their communities. Always leave a good example. Dice mi mamá, siempre deja un buen ejemplo. Well, Doña Adela is always telling me that this is what we should all strive to do in our daily lives. Having served now for 4.5 months as one of your governing board members, I have become familiar with some amazing students, educators, and administrators. I now understand why public education, specifically, why our educators are so important. I see the light in the eyes of the students as they learn something new. They understand something they felt was incomprehensible. And they see themselves in the books and in the curriculum that they're learning about. It is this idea that public education provides an equitable resource to anyone wanting to be more than they initially imagined. Just try to imagine what it was like when you were in kindergarten. Did you imagine yourself sitting in those seats with those straight A's? You probably didn't even know what an A was back then, right? Well, you do now. It is these students that make it feasible for our educators and administrators, as well as our board members, to endure the very difficult times that we're undergoing. It is these types of moments, moments, and recognitions that help remind us why public education is so important. The ultimate responsibility of excelling academically almost entirely falls on the individual student. The decisive factor in whether a student gets a good education or a great one is, in my opinion, the parents, or the guardians in some cases. The nanas, the tatas, the tios, the tias. You all matter. If a student is fortunate enough to have parents that support and encourage academic excellence, chances are high that that student will shine. Some students are naturally driven, while others still are lucky enough to access the extra support they need in their schools. But a parent that gets you to do your homework before you get on Facebook or into your video game is a parent worth their weight in gold. Being a middle school and high school student is almost always about being socially accepted. Parents and teenagers will often be at odds when it comes to what is cool. And even so, many of our students do as their parents tell them to do and do their homework before getting on the phone, or their phones. It's kind of weird. It used to be that we had a phone, now we have their phones, right? So anyways, I digress. Parents, guardians, these people deserve an award themselves for being that amazing support that the students need to get to this very moment. Well, students, I got a task for you. At the count of 3, I want you to stand up first and foremost, actually. Students receiving the awards. Can you stand up for me? So this is what we're gonna do. At the count of 3, I want you to join me in giving your families a big thank you. You guys ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Well, that wasn't very loud. Can you try that again? 1, 2, 3. Thank you. There you go. All right. Hooray, we're on to the last page. And Mom, I got rid of my gum. See? Took the piece of paper with the gum in it. I want to take a personal privilege and acknowledge again my niece, Rachel Juarez. Rachel, who is, an award recipient, as I mentioned before, has had straight A's since I can remember, since she was a baby. I'm very, very, very proud of you, Rachel. Extremely proud of you. You're part of the reason why I wanted to be on this board, to make sure that more students were like you. But I also want to recognize my brother Juan and my sister-in-law Aurora. If you guys can stand for a second. I know. They have set an exemplary effort to give Rachel the very best education they could. And as a parent of a preschooler, I really look to their example to try to provide the best possible education for Julian. Rachel has been accepted to the University High School, and we're very, very proud of you, Rachel. The awards tonight highlight the diverse ways that students and people in general can be leaders. It is not just executives or heads of organizations who are leaders. Leadership is required of every person at some point in his or her life. Students, as you look ahead, you will see a need for leadership in any job you take on, in any community that you'll be a part of, in any organization that you decide to join. Be the leaders that you've proven yourselves to be, because part of being these A+ students is being a leader. I want to thank again the organizers of this event and the selection committee for their leadership in choosing today's award recipients. I want to thank the staff behind the cameras, behind the audio panel back there. Thank you. And again, Principal Scott, thank you very much for loaning us your spot here. I would also like to express my utmost respect and congratulations to all the students. For each of you, someone somewhere recognized the greatness in you and took the time to express that. I also want to thank three of my mentors in the last few months. And those mentors are Supervisor Richard Elias, also my boss. Thank you, Richard. I want to recognize Raul Aguirre. Thank you, Raul, for your mentorship. I want to thank Ms. Crystal Foster for her friendship on these last 4 months on the board. And very importantly, I want to thank our fearless leader, who's going to be leaving us sometime soon. And I want to thank you for everything I've learned from you serving on this board. Thank you, Dr. Petticone. With that, congratulations again to you, students. Thank you very much to our MC for those very, very kind words. And everyone else in the audience, thank you very much. To the families, thank you very much. And to everybody who's ever been involved in public education, I want to thank you as well. It matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Juarez. I know of you, but I don't know much about you. But you're truly an inspiration to me just by reading your bio. Señora Juárez, si tuviera un sombrero, 7 de 9 estudiantes en la universidad nos respetan. Although today I spoke a bunch of lessons about my father, but behind every good man, there's a good woman. And that woman in my life is here today. Mamá, te digo que ha mencionado mi papá muchas veces esta noche, pero tú debes de estar orgullosa de la mujer que tú has sido en mi vida. Porque mira, tu hijo está en el escenario. Gracias por la persona que eres y el ejemplo que tú eres. I'm just telling my mother, thanks for the example that she is to me. Because my father passed 12 years ago, but my mother continued to be the foundation. And to my wife, Nelly, gracias, mija. she follows me everywhere I go. All the speaking engagements, a lot of places where she probably has to endure sometimes the boredom. And she'll sit through 30 amateur boxing matches on a Saturday. And I told her, you just need to become a judge now, you've been to so many. Pero, thank you for always being by my side. And some of these students today are going to receive a presidential award. And it's a congratulation message from the President of the United States, President Obama. Muchos de los estudiantes ahora van a agarrar una carta que escribió el presidente y se las van a presentar. We're not going to read it in Spanish. If some of you guys are wondering why we didn't do this bilingual, we do have some translators here. For the people who are only Spanish speakers, they have headphones on, so they're getting everything in Spanish, and that was to expedite the awards banquet here. But I'm going to introduce to you once again Dr. Maria Figueroa, so she can read what the letter from President Obama says. And then we'll hand out the awards. It's almost over, guys. You guys, I can see some of you guys are hungry because you're looking at me like I have a torta face. Ya me están viendo cara de torta, sé que tienen hambre. No, ya mero, ya mero. Con paciencia. I introduce to you Dr. Maria Figueroa.
Boys and girls, for being patient with us. I'll read what the actual certificate says, and then I'll read the message from the President of the United States to you. The President, it says, President's Education Awards Program, presented to, and the child's name, and it says, in recognition of outstanding academic achievement, 2013, signed by the President of the United States and the U.S. Secretary of Education. And we also recognize our department because it is giving it to you. Mexican American Student Services, Tucson Unified School District, President Barack Obama's signature on it. These were not printed here, they are directly from the White House. And the message from the President of the United States is for you, boys and girls, tonight. We went ahead and placed it in the program for you to keep it as a souvenir. It says, January 17, this is when he wrote this. Please accept my congratulations on receiving the President's Education Award. I am pleased to join your family, friends, and teachers in recognizing this tremendous achievement. Nothing will have a greater impact on your success and the success of our nation than the knowledge and skills you gain in the classroom. Your future is in your hands, and as long as you stay focused on your studies, there is not a single thing you cannot accomplish. By earning this award, you have shown the discipline and drive to excel academically, and I encourage you to carry those qualities forward in all that you do. Congratulations again. I applaud the example you set for students across the country, and I wish you all the best for the years ahead. Barack Obama. So proud the first year we had our African American president. I used to give that award to our 5th graders as we promoted them into middle school. We decided in the department, due to the sheer numbers and the volume of business that we have with our 32,000 Hispanic children in TUSD, that all children receiving a 3.5 and above GPA based on the first 3 quarters grades would receive their gold presidential award from President Barack Obama at their school sites with their families, with their administrators, and with the teachers that they know. And so here we decided to acknowledge our 4.0 students with the silver award, presidential award, and we also have that ulterior motive, like I said earlier, that we want our 12th graders to be able to come back, our hardest working and brightest that have the skills to be able to come back and help us mentor our 8th graders, 9th graders, and 10th graders this coming year. At this time, I would like to begin actually giving our certificates to our students. We also have certificates that we will be giving our students from the department for good citizen and humanitarian certificate for students that have actually already given plenty of their hours in community service. I would like to also thank Mrs. Gloria Copeland for being here tonight and helping our department this entire year. Mr. Raul Aguirre, welcome. Thank you for being here. And Mrs. Debbie Freeman, Director of Dropout Prevention. Thank you for being here. So if the principals from Carson, Dodge, and Doolin, please come up and help us give your students their awards. I would appreciate it.
Good evening, my name is Paul DeWert. I'm not the principal of Carson. Mr. John Howe is not here this evening. He asked me to present his certificates on his behalf. Carson is having one of their final fine arts evenings tonight, and he wanted to be there for that. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you a couple of young men from Carson. The first one is receiving an award for good citizenship and the humanitarian certificate, Francisco Ortiz. And the next young man is receiving an achievement certificate. Excuse me. This says not your name, young man. This is not the right certificate, but I do know who this. I don't know. This is Elijah Costello for achievement.
At this time, I'd like to ask the board members to come up to please help us give the presidential awards and the other department certificates. Board members, if you can please come up. Dr. Petticone, Maggie Schaefer, please come up. Dr. Morales, please, if you can sit, Debbie, you can stand there. And then I will call the administrators to please come up. And, we'll now begin giving our presidential awards. Yvonne Manzanero, are you here? Can you please come up for your certificate? Is he here? I don't think he's here. No, he's here. At this time, Martha, can you please come up?
Good evening. I'm Martha Taylor, the proud principal of Doolin Middle School, and this is my assistant principal, Ms. Veronica Duran. And we're really happy to be here tonight. I do want to say, before we present our awards, that many of the students on our list are at an out-of-town field trip, because otherwise I know they would be here. So our first award, which is a humanitarian certificate, is given to Angel Flores. And our second award, which is a President's Education Award, is to Jorge Perez Diablas.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matt Munger. I'm the assistant principal at Dodge Magnet Middle School. On behalf of Dr. Schulter, the community staff of Dodge, I'd like to recognize the following students for their accomplishments. Priscilla Castillo. Ms. Elizabeth Estrella. And Mr. Diego Velasco. Thank you for attending this evening.
And the representative from Pickett, please come up.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Michael Conrad, and I am the proud principal at Booth Fickett K-8 Math and Science Magnet School. This evening, the student we have to recognize is an excellent example of the students at Booth Fickett K-8 and a prime example of what makes TUSD a fabulous district to be a part of. And I would like to provide the Achievement Certificate of Excellence to Zach Kennedy. Thank you.
My name is David Dietz. I'm a Learning Supports Coordinator at Grizzly in Action, Dodge Middle Schools. On behalf of Kathy Sheppy, Principal of Grizzly Middle School, and David Davies, Assistant Principal, we're pleased to announce these 4 students that are here tonight, and their parents too. Thank you for being here. We have 2 students that are Silver Presidential Scholar Awards, Mia Birch and Annabelle Sarno. And we have an award for fine arts of Sophia Acedo. And we have an achievement award for Reina Salgado.
Senator McGee, please.
Good evening, my name is Alicia Vaughn. I'm one of the teachers at McGee Middle School, and I'm here for Mr. Erickson, who's at home sick, and Mr. And Mr. Webb, who is attending one of our final fine arts events of the evening at McGee. We have a presidential award for Carlos Barrios Garcia. And a humanitarian award for Katie Kavanaugh.
Nancy?
I get to be here twice. Who was that? All right. From my school, the Proud and Mighty Bulldogs. There you go. My first student is Luis Antonio Gonzalez, receiving the Silver Presidential Award. And I have the distinction of getting to introduce to you Rachel Wattis, who has lots of family here tonight. Come on up here, kid. We need to go hug a whole bunch of people out there. And for Good Citizenship Humanitarian Certificate, Devin Idazari. Come on up, kid. Thank you very much.
Next, all representative.
Middle School, and I'm very proud to be here tonight to honor two of my students who have overcome great obstacles and odds to rise to the top of achievement for 8th grade students. They've overcome what would drop many of us to our knees, and I'm so very, very proud of them and what they've accomplished at Maxwell, the years they've been there, and I'd particularly like to thank their parents for all their support and all the district people that have helped. First is Maria Elena Ramos. And next, we have Mr. Ernesto Ponce.
I'm Robin Weldon. I'm the principal at Miles Exploratory Learning Center, and I am very proud to be here this evening to honor two of my students who were able to make it this evening. First, Maya Cuato is receiving this award for fine arts. And next we have Gabe Careyhard. He is receiving this award for achievement this evening. Thank you.
Please note that a lot of the students who are receiving the different award are also receiving Gold Presidential Award at their school sites. So they will be receiving that award tomorrow night as well, or whenever their school has that ceremony. Pueblo Gardens? Pueblo Gardens has a student by the name of Edith Verdugo who has received the Presidential Silver Award. Is she here tonight? Juan Insuna is receiving the Good Citizen Humanitarian Certificate Award. The accomplishments will be our congratulating tonight, and we want all of our young adults to do, which is contribute to their community. Thank you. Academic Achievement Certificate for the young lady by the name of Julissa Cardiel.
Hi, my name is Thad Dugan. I am the assistant principal at Pister Middle School, and unfortunately none of our students were able to make it tonight. They are participating in band and orchestra concerts and choir concerts we've been going on for the last couple of days. We do have over 1,000 students, and the students that are unable to make it here tonight deserve to be celebrated. They are examples at our school of what students can be, and they are the students that are going to help us achieve our school-wide goal of becoming a B school. The first B school on the west side of the freeway is our goal, and we have very high hopes thanks to students like the students who are here tonight. So I just wanted to say thank you to the students who unfortunately were unable to make it, but I would be remiss if I did not celebrate their successes anyway. So thank you for coming.
And at Pister School, we have 7 presidential awards, silver presidential awards. We have 7 4.0 students, 2 Good Citizen Humanitarian Awards, and 2 Fine Arts, and 2 Academic Achievement Awards. Thank you. Robert Snaylor, representative.
Good evening. My name is Connie Cepeda, and I'm the principal of Robert Snaylor, and helping me recognize the achievement of our students at Robert Snaylor is Mr. Sean Wilkins. The first person that we want to recognize today is Laura Aguilar, and she is being recognized with the recognition and commitment of exceptional performance at Robert Snaylor K-8 for academic achievement. Laura also has another one. Laura has another one, and it's for Good Citizen and Humanitarian Certificate. The next one, we would like to recognize Alejandra Estrada, and we're recognizing her for her Achievement Certificate. And all of our students, Alejandra and also Laura, were recognized for their achievement, but there's also one very special award, and that is for Achievement Certificate, and it is to Stephanie Martinez. Thank you for helping us recognize what Robert Snaylor students can do. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, padres, por estar aquí. Yo soy Esteban Laturco, el asistente director de la escuela Grassroots. Estoy muy orgulloso para presentar a estos estudiantes recibiendo este certificado. Thank you, parents, for being here, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce our certificate awards for these students. Miss Edith Valenzuela for achievement. Celia Marquez, Fine Arts Student. Mr. Miguel Valdivia, Fine Arts Student. Maria Vera, for Good Citizenship and Humanitarian Certificate. Cynthia Ramirez, Outstanding Academic Achievement. Mr. Saul Manzano, Outstanding Academic Achievement. And Mr. Alexander Emmanuel Frieden for Outstanding Academic Achievement. Muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Staff representative. So proud of these 4.0 students. Isn't that amazing? So much hard work.
Buenas noches. My name is Teresa Tanachi, and I'm honored to be the principal of Safford K-8 International Baccalaureate Magnet School. I have the honor also of presenting to you two beautiful and amazing young people in my life. The first is receiving a presidential award, Mr. Joseph Sandoval. Our next student is earning a fine arts certificate. I wish you could see her work, Miss Teresa Perez.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm the assistant principal, Laura Engel of Sechrist Middle School. And Dr. Perricone, in your letter you wrote that this is only the beginning. And when you look around, what a beginning it is. It's just amazing. And so I'm going to introduce you and award some students from Sechrist who consistently go above and beyond. The first is Catherine Callisto. She's a little nervous, just a little nervous.
It's okay.
The next recipient for Outstanding Academic Achievement, the President's Education Award, is Daris Bonillas. The next recipient of the President's Education Award is Destiny Zaragoza. The next President Award goes to Abby Penix. And last but not least, Christian Rodriguez for Fine Arts.
Here. This student is receiving a certificate to acknowledge her achievement award and recognition from her principal, who has named this young lady a high achiever and has overcome many obstacles. Her name is Carmela Quintero. Valencia representative. I think we have samples in here tonight.
Buenas noches, I'm Patricia Acosta, proud principal of the Mensa Middle School Jaguars. Alongside here with our 8th grade counselor, Jeff Lent, we are here to honor our 8th grade powerhouses. Here they are.
First student this evening is a student that if I could honor for academic, athletics, and overall achievement, I would. She's been with us for 3 years, played every single sport. He's going to go to UHS next year, and he's also been a straight A student, Victoria Corona. Our second student falls into the same category. She's played all sports for us, straight A student, and she's also going to University High School in the fall. Gabriella Chenktai. Next young man is going to get an achievement award, and he's the first person I met when I came to TUSD. Came up to me, shook my hand, told me his name, and told me he planned on going to college someday. Francisco Cuevas. Next young man is also the first freshman ever to make the Tucson Mariachi Band, and is going to be one of the young men up on stage that's going to wow you someday for Fine Arts Achievement, Samson Weisbrot. And our last young lady, also a Fine Arts Achievement, is an outstanding violin player and one of the kindest, nicest people I've ever met. Abigail Arias for Fine Arts.
Wakefield. Sorry, we have a representative from Vail.
Hi, good evening. My name is Juliet Mejia. I'm here to represent Robert Vineyard from Aliceville Middle School. I'm very, very proud to present this award to Aaron Renz for outstanding academic achievement, and who is also on his way to University High School. Congratulations.
present him?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Tiffany McKee, and I am the very proud principal of Wakefield Middle School, and I am so pleased to be recognizing some of our promoting knights this evening. These are some of our exemplar students, and some of them wanted me to let you know they rushed here from a soccer event because they are very involved with the school, and they were having their soccer recognition with their Latin Cross Peer Mentoring Soccer League. So they didn't want you to think they did not dress for the occasion. Okay. The first person I would like to recognize is receiving the Presidential Academic Achievement Award, and she is also being recognized as our Good Citizen Humanitarian, and that is Ms. Kathleen Armenta. Our next young lady to be recognized is a phenomenal mariachi musician, and she will be wowing you on this stage one day also, and this is Miss Jaylene Rodriguez. The next person that I would like to recognize is one of our fine young men who is also an incredibly talented mariachi musician, and that's Mr. Juan Zamora. Our next young man is being recognized for his achievement, and this is Mr. Tony Torres. And our next young lady is being recognized for her achievement, Miss Odette Castro.
Alternative Ed TAP program. Catalina High School.
Ladies and gentlemen, buenos noches and felicidades. My name is Rex Scott. Very proud to welcome you to Catalina High School, where I am honored to serve as the principal. I'm very pleased to tell you that we had our senior honors night in this same auditorium last night, and many of the young men and women who you're about to meet were also honored on this stage last night. They represent the finest. They represent what we call Trojan pride. Receiving a President's Education Award, one of our outstanding athletes, scholars, and also one of our mariachi, Ms. Karen Leon. Another young man that we recognized last night for his exceptional academic achievement, and someone who brightens your day every time you see him in the hallways, Mr. Gabriel Oros. Now, I will have to ask Dr. Petticone and the other dignitaries on stage to step down for a moment so that you can join me in recognizing one of my favorite students at this school, a young man who invariably, whenever I see him, makes me forget all of my cares and troubles, Mr. Manuel Uzueta. next week when we confer diplomas on the class of 2013. This young lady will favor us with her rendition of our national anthem, Ms. Ada Licea. And our final honoree is a member of our Trojan Pride marching band, an extraordinarily talented artist. In fact, I have one of her drawings hanging in my office, Ms. Carly Ariston. Thank you again, and we hope you're enjoying your evening here at Catalina.
Good evening, buenas noches. My name is Francisco Moraga. I'm the assistant principal at Choya High Magnet School, an international baccalaureate school. On behalf of our administration and Frank Garmenta, our principal, I want to thank you for coming tonight, and thank you parents for giving us your students and allowing us to be a part of their education. The first student I'd like to go ahead and recognize is Analí de la Garza for Fine Arts. And then also a young man that I enjoy seeing every day because he's one of my office aides there at school. Today he was enjoying his last week of school. He's there playing the guitar in my office and just enjoying himself because he put in the effort beforehand. Julio Cesar Valdez.
Good evening, my name is Roberto Thompson. I'm the assistant principal at Palo Verde Magnet High School. On behalf of Principal Acevedo and the rest of the administrative team, we also want to introduce Maria Avalos. She's our magnet coordinator and she's going to read off the names.
I'm very proud to represent Palo Verde and very proud to announce the name of Zaida Jimenez Jimenez.
Majoring in business management.
Good evening, my name is Kathy Comstock and I'm the very proud principal of Rincon High School, home of the Rangers. I'm very proud this evening to welcome 4 students. The first one I'm really proud of because this student is actually going to my alma mater, the University of Nebraska, Lincoln, woo, Christian Lopez. Go Big Red, he'll be majoring in anesthesiology at Nebraska. The next person is someone that pretty much almost everybody at our school knows. This student is going to Arizona State University, Barrett's Honor College, where she will be majoring in psychology. She has won over $30,000 in scholarships. Congratulations to Elena Espinosa. Also a member of the Superintendent Student Advisory Council. Congratulations to this next student who is being recognized for fine arts in both visual art as well as drama. He is going to the University of Arizona, and this is Cameron Manhari. Sporting the purple. And our final recipient this evening is going to, she's being recognized for her achievements in fashion design through the CTE program. She's going to she's going to Pima Community College in the STEM program. Congratulations to Letty Gonzalez. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabino.
Good evening. My name is Valerie Payne, and I'm the principal at Sabino High School. Since all of my students didn't come tonight, I thought I would take a couple of minutes to maybe negotiate a deal with Pueblo to borrow the mariachis to come over and visit Sabino. They're so phenomenal. If I could negotiate a deal with you, that'd be great. Thank you, Vivi. Okay, back to my special students. Starting with Ms. Michaela Valentine, who will be attending Boston University. She's receiving the award for Good Citizen and Humanitarian. She's a phenomenal leader at our school. Okay, and I have an extremely special young man over here, stage right, Mr. Antonio Childress, who is receiving the award for achievement tonight.
Thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is Bobby Estrella. I'm the assistant principal of Sorrel High School. The student I'm about to introduce you today is going to perform clarinet at the University of Arizona, where he seeks a music education degree. I'm proud to announce Jacob Malcolm.
Good evening. My name is Michael Beck, and I'm assistant principal at Santa Rita High School. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce the following Eagle. This student is actually, I nominated him for the Humanitarian Award, mainly because this student achieved something that only 2% of all Boy Scouts in the world have ever achieved, and that's the rank of Eagle Scout. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce Marco Hernandez Romero.
University High.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Mall, and I'm the very proud principal of University High School. This is Ms. Carmen Hernandez, and she is our Learning Supports Coordinator. I think some of you 8th graders out there may know her because you're coming to University High School, and we're very excited to have you come on board. If you haven't taken a tour of the school, please contact Ms. Hernandez after our evening, and she'll be glad to give you a tour of the school. This evening, I would like to recognize 3 students from University High School. The other students are attending our SARSEF competition in Phoenix. The first one that I'd like to recognize is James Barley Fuentes. And James will be attending University of Arizona, and this is for the Good Citizen Humanitarian Certificate. Next is Amelia Zamora. And Amelia will be attending Barrett College, the ASU. And finally, Andrea Bruckenhont, and she will be attending Grand Canyon University. Thank you so much.
Alternative Ed.
Good evening, my name is Ann Dudley, and I am the principal at the Teenage Parent High School. And tonight we are honoring 2 students because of their amazing persistence and resilience to stay in school against all odds. And I'm not talking about being a young parent, I'm talking about other odds that most of us, if we face them, we would not be in school anymore. So these 2 students are also quiet leaders in our school in that they model great parenting, and students follow them, but quietly. And so it's my great pleasure tonight to give the achievement certificate to Sylvia Gibbons Enriquez. And the other student who I'm very proud of for his persistence is Giovanni Boresa Islava. And I did not pronounce his name right, he's shaking his head. We practiced.
Principal, Mr. Carlos Armendariz would like to say some words for the Tucson High student recipient winners, and they have several presidential awards, but they are having their event tonight also to recognize them as well.
Again, I represent Tucson High School and Dr. Clarice Clash. Tucson High Magnet School, a school steeped in a rich academic and athletic tradition. I just wanted to acknowledge the 18 students here who are academicians and also athletes, and just a rich tradition. Thank you for being here tonight.
Just to make certain, Yvonne Manzanero is not here? No? Okay. What an amazing group of students, aren't they? And so we are counting on, yes, you may sit down now. Thank you so much. We are counting on our 4.0 students, high achievers, to come back and help us mentor those students that are not as fortunate. We thank you all for coming tonight. I know this is family time, so we'll let you go to your families now tonight. Thank you, Mr. Carrizosa, for saying some fond words. And Mr. Templari, thank you tonight for your lovely speech.